Hi friends, welcome to the coding challenge, and today's coding challenge is a little bit difficult but very interesting. So this is about removing the duplicate node from the linked list. So it's a linked list, and like at times understanding the reference might be trivial. So our challenge is to write the code to remove duplicate from the unsorted linked list. So as you know, we do test-driven development. So what I did is I just created an array, and with the constructor, we are trying to converting the array into a linked list like this. So this provides you the head of the linked list, and your unsorted linked list is ready. Then you will have the solution, which will pass this head, and whatever the output head you get must not have the duplicates. So this guy, now when we here we created the expected linked list which doesn't have the duplicates. So we have a perfect failing test case. Let's run our failing test case. So test driven development, first thing is to come up with a test case. Now let's solve the problem to make the test pass. So how do we do this? We are creating a set. Set we know doesn't allow the duplicates, or it removes the duplicate. So what we would do at first is we have the head. So what we would do is we would create a node, and we would create a node, and we will call it as current, and then we would assign it the value of head. And then what we would do is we would put the value for the first thing inside the head, inside like the head, or we can say the current dot data inside here. So we have the node, which is the current node, and then what we would do is we would see if current dot next is not null. So if current dot next is not null, then we will like keep incrementing it to the next guy, and then we'll see. So here first we will see if set dot exist dot contains the value of our next node data. So let's say if this does not contain the value, then what? So if this does not contain the value, then we are supposed to add the value in the exists here. So we would say that whatever our next node dot data, that will get added. So you see that the current node's data is already there, like previously we added. So now the next case we are covering that this will add the data there, and then we would increment our uh, this current value for the current value here to the next. And now we will go with the else case. So in else case, if this value does exist, then what? So in that case, what we would do is we would, instead of incrementing, we would jump the pointer for our current next to current next. And we have the confidence that the current next is not null, because that's how we are checking. So if value does not, if value is, let's say, kind of duplicate, like when value already exists in the set, then we will increment our current set's next values to the next. So this is how that would work. Let's try to make it, let's try to run this. And then we'll fix whatever the test fails or passes, because that's how we learn the test driven development, like the stuff. So what is wrong here? Let's debug that. So what I did is I have written if, but it should be while. So as soon as, so that was my typo. So now our test case passes. So this is one of the solution. Let's look at another solution where we will use the pointer for the parent. So what we are going to do is we will have two pointers. First pointer will be called as C, which would be the current, and then the next pointer would be for the parent or the previous element. So let's say P, previous. So what we would do is we will call the head as previous, and the current would be the head.next. So now let's try to iterate over this. So what we would do is if current is not null, so we will check the value for the data. If this is contained here, for example, we would just do inverse for this here. Then we need to add it. So we would say add current data, and we would do c dot next. No, actually this would be the previous would be current in this case, and current would be the next, which is like very usual and very general case. But the main thing which would happen here is if this value doesn't exist, then we need to jump the pointer. So we would say p dot next is equal to current dot next. So p, whatever was the previous next was the current. So previous was pointing to current. Now previous would jump the current and would point the current's next. So previous next is just we are jumping a pointer actually here. And this guy we can put here because it's a common statement. So parent we have changed, and then once we need to go to the next, right? So I think again I have written if this should be while. Sorry for the typo. And we should run the solution too and see what I messed up this time. And we are all good. So these were the two ways by which you can basically do the duplication in a linked list. I hope you have liked it, and thanks for watching. For any questions, just leave it in the comment and like and subscribe my video.